call the meeting in order. If you'd stand for the pledge of the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remain standing. John Shalotsky then opens with prayer.
Dear Lord in heaven, thank you for another opportunity for us to come together as a council to do the town's business. Help us to be wise and good stewards of the money. I pray that you protect our country both at home and abroad, and that you can help us work out our differences both here and there. Please protect our first responders and our soldiers overseas. Let our government be as wise as we hope that the town of New Whiteland can be. This in all things I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. You may be seated. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from May 6th?
Motion to approve the minutes from May 6th.
We have a second. Second by Chad. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5 affirmative. And the minutes from the special meeting on May 18th.
I'll make the motion.
John Purdy made the motion.
Second.
Second by Dennis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5 affirmative. Do we have a motion to approve and ratify the fund report and docket with today's date?
I'll make the motion.
A motion by John Purdy.
Second.
Second by Chad. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5 affirmative. Okay, at this time, we are going to have a public hearing on the proposed sewer rates, and that will be Robert.
Sure. Yeah, so I shared with everyone should have received a copy of kind of an updated rate impact sheet. Since we've been doing this for, 3 months now, I feel like I've been every meeting for the last 4 or 5 months, but interest rates have really moved. They're unfortunately in the wrong direction. You could say a lot of people going to war, which is a pretty easy low-hanging fruit for a reason to say why. But when we started this back in late April, when we kind of really started moving forward, rates were at 4.71. You're up more around 4.79 now. So what that's going to do is that's going to increase your debt service. That also increases the rate impact because interest goes up, you have more money to pay for it. So I gave you this handout to really kind of break down a couple different scenarios, a couple options of how you can select and move forward. If you look at the sheet, it's really broken out to 3 different parts. The top half that's what we talked about before. In the middle half, if anyone needs a copy, I'm sorry, I should have said this earlier, I have copies as well. The middle half the idea is we talked about there's about $156,000 in engineering funds for design of the project that were paid out of cash. The original rates and impacts we did assumed those amounts would be reimbursed. So if you looked at part 2, this still assumes that's going to be reimbursed. So if you go through with this, if you do not do the grant for the water from the sale of the water loan, instead of a $13.44 increase for the average user, it's going to go up to $13.72. So it's about a 33-cent higher increase than we originally were anticipating. Or if you do that $1 million grant from the water loan, it goes from $10.32 per the average user to $10.55. Then if you look on the bottom part of this sheet, I pulled out that $156,000 since that's already the money paid out the door. Your water funds your sewer funds are in good shape. You can get by without doing your reimbursement and just borrow less money. If you do that, the rate impact goes from $13.72 to $13.13 for an average user. So you save about 60 cents a month if you don't do the $1 million loan from the water utility. So if you finance 100% of the remaining dollars, or if you do that $1 million loan from the sale of the water utility, it drops to $10.03. So there too, it drops about 50 cents. So really today, what needs to be done is a decision just needs to be made on how you'd like to move forward.
Okay. This is a public hearing. So if there's anyone here from the public that has questions or comments, either we will try to answer them for you or Robert will.
Yep.
So if there's anyone that has a question or a comment, the only thing we would ask is you give Angela your name and address before you speak. Anyone?
This is evolving. Dennis Shelton, do you need an address?
Yes.
6149 North 25 West, Whiteland. I'm one of the customers that's attached to the storage system, but not within the boundary of the town. Obviously, rate increases are affecting life on everything. That's understandable. This particular increase, at least for the rate that would be affecting me, is slightly more than 40% at one jump. So I guess my question to the board would be, if we're letting this cover expenses, are our expenses year over year equal to this 40%? That is a significant increase at one time, even though obviously dollars are not significant, I understand
Yeah.
that. But
And
it is a percentage increase.
And Mr. I almost didn't recognize you. It's been so long since I've seen you. But I'm glad you said the last part, because that's one of the things that every time the newspaper prints something like that, that's the way it is. Here's what the percentage is. But the one thing you said, that it's $10, and
That's a little bit more than that, but I mean, the
Yeah.
dollars is not significant, I guess, in today's money, but
Right.
I mean, it is still a 40% increase
Yeah.
in one shot.
But to try to give you an answer to your specific question, yes, as far as the expenditures that we're seeing, because we've tried not to do increases or minimal increases. Matt, what was it, 19 was the last?
I think it was the end of 2018 was the last.
Yeah, it was the last increase.
And I don't know that if I remember right, I don't think the non-residents that were connected were actually affected by that rate increase even in 2018.
Right.
So I don't know when they seen the last increase.
And
Yeah.
as far as to why it's so large, it's not just for operations, because there's a large project and there's going to be debt service for the project to pay for the project.
That is-
It's upgrades at the treatment.
Yeah.
That was my next question. Was this percentage to fund expenses, or is it to fund projects for growth?
A small percentage of it is for just normal operating percentage, but the remaining of it is just equipment. And Matt, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's just equipment that's getting old that needs to be replaced. It's not even just for growth.
Yeah,
It's
it's
for continued operations.
The equipment that's being replaced is fairly expensive equipment that we're getting. I think it's almost 18 years of age on one, and the other one was actually done in 1995, I believe. So, is that 21 years ago? 21 years. So it really doesn't have anything to do with any growth at all. It's just really replacing with what we kind of currently have.
Is it replacing what we have, or is it increasing capacity?
It's not increasing any capacity
No.
at all.
That's a question.
No.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have questions, comments? Okay, seeing no one else, we are going to close the public hearing at this time. So I guess there needs to be discussion amongst the council as far as which direction we want to go, and there's a couple options, whether we put in the $1 million, and just to kind of let everybody know where that comes from. How many years ago did we sell the water utility?
2000,
It was 2012.
yeah, 2000,
Okay,
2012,
so-
2015, yeah.
Quite a few years ago, 15 years ago. The bulk of the money that was received from the sale is still here. We did purchase this building with part of that money, but the bulk of that money has either been Angela or her predecessor, Mary Beth Oswald, doing investments. One of the things that we said when the water utility was sold, and I believe I'm the only person that was actually on the council at that time, is we did not want to take this, so to speak, windfall and just go out and go nuts with it. And it's still there. One of the things that we are trying to do, and our attorney who was not able to be here tonight, one of the things that he keeps telling us is, if we're going to use this money, we need to do it for something that is going to benefit you folks out there that pay the bills. And so if there's a significant increase differential if you look at what is proposed and what it will be if the town takes $1 million out of that fund and we put that towards that. And so that's what we're proposing, is using some of that money to the benefit of the townspeople, to where you don't have to absorb as much of the increase. So,
How much are the engineering fees?
is that the 156,000?
That's what's been paid out so far. I don't have the total of how much the total engineering would be for this project.
I do have a question about that. Sure.
So yeah, I think it was 156,000 what we've paid so far, and that basically catches up with design. There's still a portion of that for construction administration and I guess part-time kind of inspections and things like that. We have that, we just haven't signed anything contract-wise. We're kind of doing it in segments. So, but I believe that was all built into the rates and all that stuff to take all that. But what would be reimbursed, I guess, if that's the way you guys would be, that 156.
And what would be, since it's already been spent, if we were not to pay back the utility, the 156,000, what would that impact be to your overall operating?
So it's not going to affect it any at all. It's money that was, it's basically money that comes out of the capital improvements stuff that we've been saving up. I think we started that fund in 2018 or 2019, I think. And there's a certain amount of money that goes in there every year for it. And to me, this would be a portion of capital improvements with this equipment. So that's what kind of paid for that engineering. So I don't.
Yeah, that's where my entire question was. Can we not expect reimbursement on the engineering fees and be okay?
Yeah, I don't see any issue. I mean, Robert, do you see anything? I know you.
No,
think
I
of
mean, to
finances
me,
and things
I was
like that.
looking over, I mean, what you sent me, for what you expect to spend out the next 5 years, and I think everything we have in there would be sufficient without even really going into the cash balance. So, really, for things like that is what that money's for, right? That is the purpose of those funds. So you really used it while you collected from the tax, from your ratepayers, and now you're kind of using it back to help keep your rates low instead of just pushing it on down the road to another project.
So the 156, if I understand right, we're talking, the million, we're talking about the town lending to the utility paying it back over time, and we've got to drop a contract for that hasn't been done yet, but that's the plan. The 156 would simply be absorbed, and it sounds like that's easy enough, but that's essentially $1,156,000 that we're not borrowing.
Right.
Yes.
We're borrowing from ourselves, either paying cash or borrowing from ourselves, which I think makes sense. And you know, and for the benefit of the public, we've talked through, what happens if things don't pan out the way we expect? It's possible for the town to say to the utility, okay, you can defer payments, or we're simply not going to collect that loan. You can't do that with bonds. The bonds have to be paid, period. There's no option not to. So again, I don't think we'll need that room, but it's there if we do.
I want to add that it was August 18th, 2020 at that meeting that it was suggested, Steve Brock did a rate study and they suggested raising the rates at that time, and council decided not to do that because we were coming off of COVID and a lot of people employment problems and things like that. So just so everybody knows that you guys decided not to at that time. So it's.
But I think we've seen at least a couple of the last 4 or 5 years, the utility's been a little bit in the hole. It hasn't been significant, but it's been a little bit in the hole in operations. So it's not a surprise that part of this needs to go to daily operations.
Right.
And that's even before we had 400 new homes that are going to be built.
Well, I think that becomes one of those things that, you know, do you increase the rates at a slower rate and then it doesn't seem so dramatic versus we basically deferred it for six years.
Well, and I didn't bring the document that was passed out at previous meetings where it shows us compared to surrounding municipalities. And we are definitely one of the lower cost utility, sewer utilities.
Yeah, we go from near the bottom to sort of middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments from the council?
Personally, I think it makes sense to pay the 156 in cash, or not included in the bond.
Yeah,
And for the town to lend the utility $1 million, and then we end up with a rate increase at $10.03 per month on average.
Okay.
In fact, if it's time for a motion, I'd make a motion that we do those things.
Well, that, I'll tell you, that would be legislative, but since we're doing this, why don't we just go ahead? If somebody wants to make a motion in a second, we'll do it now and not jump back to it later, so.
If yours is a motion, I will second it.
And you're on part 3?
part three.
Part three,
Part
scenario
option
two.
two.
Okay,
Yep.
It keeps the increase as low as we can possibly get it.
which that will make it for $10.03 increase. And who seconded that?
That was me.
Dennis? Questions, comments from the council?
I do have a question though.
Yes.
So, I got an email today, and I'm sorry, honestly, I was reading it at stoplights, that talked about a couple of different potential increases because we don't know what the interest rates are gonna do.
So the way the rate ordinance is structured, so the anticipation is the 10.03.
Right,
But the problem, but the reality of the situation is, we're not gonna sell bonds till probably early July. So you're gonna have, probably late June, early July, depends how a few things line up. So there is a risk that the interest rate market may go up, but it could also go down. We just don't know. So what's proposed in the ordinance is 2 phases. The first phase is enough to do what we assume the rates are gonna be now, a little bit of extra cushion just in case, because if it goes up a basis point, we don't wanna be that tight.
Right.
And then the second phase, which is a true up in case you need it. So the idea would be once the bond's sold, you'll adopt an ordinance that either says for that phase 2, you're going to remove it. If you didn't need it, you're going to only take 10%. You know, it just gives you that cushion so we don't have to hold an emergency meeting to change rates at the last minute. So you can get through this project without, to kind of help offset any unpredictability.
so the phase 1, you've estimated 479 for the rate. What's the estimated rate for the phase 2? What was the increase, I guess, that you used?
I don't have the exact number. I can tell you in 1 second.
I think that was on the email, but I don't remember.
I don't remember seeing, I've just,
That might have been yes.
Yeah, sorry, I should have had that number in front of me, and that's the one thing I did not calculate. So for phase, so for,
well, if you can get me in the right zip code.
yeah. I got it right here.
I think it was less than $1 difference.
Oh, yeah, that I've got. That's what this is.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't, my question is, this assumes 4.79, what does this assume?
So if you do the entire phase 2, which I do not believe you will, but
Right,
extreme worst case scenario, that does take it all the way up, because the phase 2 was just the total that you allow. It's about an extra $5 to the average user.
well, the dollar amount I understand, but I assume the difference between the phase 1 and phase 2, the only difference is what if rates go up? So in phase 2, what rate did you use? What
Oh,
sort
what
of that
interest
sale?
rate did I use?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. So what I used from, okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question. It was 100 basis points
Gotcha.
back in
Okay.
April. So, because if you remember, we had to set the ordinance from that time being. So what I did was I took that and just added another 100 basis points
Okay.
to give us a little wiggle room. So it's not quite 100 basis points now, but that's kind of where you're at now. So
Oh, so it's 100 from the 471 and we're,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay,
So
that's good.
It allows you to go to about 5.7. Which
Okay.
I don't.
And I think,
I won't say anything won't happen because I've said that before and things happen, but
Right.
I would be shocked if that happened. But I mean, COVID happened overnight, where it plummeted. I mean,
I always say, unless a plane flies into a building in New York, that's gonna be, you know.
I'm actually looking to do a mortgage right now, and I've been watching the
yeah.
war, and I'm hoping it can last week. I was like, oh, maybe it's gonna end, and it just keeps going.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
for
Okay,
you guys' sake, I was hoping maybe we get a little slowdown there.
Maybe. Other questions? Okay, then we have a motion and a second on ordinance 2026-01. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? 5 affirmative. Now, if we have 5 affirmative, we don't have to suspend
We
the,
need at least 4 for it to pass tonight.
I'm sorry?
We need at least 4 for it to pass. Actually,
Okay.
I think that was the bond.
That's the
So
bond,
it's good.
because this is-
Right, this is the second. It was
Gotcha.
introduced the last time, so
Gotcha.
we're good.
Okay. Ansel, you have any other old business? Chad?
No, sir.
John?
No.
Dennis?
No.
John?
Are you sure, Dennis?
Yeah, well, I had 3 things and I've already talked to Matt about 2 of them, so I'm good.
Okay, well, one of mine had to do with what Dennis had brought up, which is about the e-bike concept and pro golf cart. I have received a few more. It's still not any kind of overwhelming support. But I have fielded a couple of people who have expressed interest in it. Again, I'm still stuck with, I'm not sure that is enough of an expression of support for us to change our direction.
I know there's a lot of people that want them. Because to be honest with you, if we changed it, I would probably buy one myself. Because I had one in the past. And from what I'm hearing, Franklin's not having issues, Bargersville's not having issues, and they're a lot bigger than we are. And they have a lot more main roads. I did read up on Franklin's, and I think our biggest concern, at least my biggest concern, is we have several main roads. Whiteland Road, Tracy Road, Sawmill, and 31. And the way all of the other municipalities that will allow golf carts, you can, what's the word, traverse?
Mm-hmm.
You can go over the road, but you can't go down the road. So if somebody wanted to go across Tracy Road or Whiteland Road, then they could. They'd have to take one of the other roads and go across. And it seems to work, at least from what I've heard from others. But, and you brought up the e-bikes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have a clue. Because I don't know necessarily how they operate. Is it like the old moped where you pedal and then the motor takes off?
They will, you can pedal or they will run solely off battery.
Okay. I guess in my mind, I don't know how that would be different than, I guess, somebody riding their bicycle. And where I know kids can ride the e-bikes.
Mm-hmm.
And I know part of the issue that the townsfolk have had as far as the golf carts is, what if the 12-year-old is out there? Well, there's nowhere else around that allows 12-year-olds. If they get caught, the golf cart gets confiscated and mom and dad get a ticket. And that would be the only way I would even consider this. If you don't have a driver's license and it's not equipped to be on the street the same as a car, it doesn't go on the street. E-bikes, I don't know, because I don't know enough about them.
Well, and what made me even think to bring it up was driving down Tracy Road. There were 2 kids that came out of Tracy Ridge, one trailing the other one. They were smaller guys, and they were about this far from hitting Tracy Road where I was at, because it was just a little more than they were ready for. They weren't doing anything wrong. It was just not ready for it. And that I started thinking, well, we've had people raise concerns about go-karts, and if you've got something that's going to run 20, 25 mile an hour, do we really want a 10-year-old on that ripping down Tracy Road or cutting through traffic?
I think one of the issues with like the go-karts and those little bitty motorcycle-ish type things is the profile. Is you can't see them.
Yeah, like the mini bike that went down in front of my house at 3 o'clock this
Mini
afternoon.
bikes, thank you.
Joe, is there anything else as far as e-bikes that,
There is definitely bikes. e-bikes are not a combustible engine like a go-kart or a mini bike or a motorcycle or a moped or a scooter. So right now they're legal to drive, just like you said earlier, like a bicycle. So, and I'll agree with Dan. There is a degree of them being dangerous, and they're starting to get more popular. I've saw several of them out today. But right now, there's nothing that's established on the e-bike.
I don't know if that answers anything for you or just makes it.
I'll dig into it a little more, and maybe it's a non-issue, I don't know. That one episode concerned me, and, because if they would have made it out into the street, that would have greatly impacted me and obviously greatly impacted them. And I'd hate to have that happen.
Is it anybody here to talk discussion over it, or are we gonna bring it up, or?
Well, we can do that at the open to the public part. Because I don't know, we got a lot of folks here tonight, so. But, Matt, you got any old business? Dave? Joe? Okay. New business, the quote opening for the I&I project.
All right, as you guys know, we did that, study up there in the Raintree subdivision, mainly, I guess, Raintree and Tracy Ridge, everything ties into the Raintree lift station. Trying to eliminate I&I. It's, stuff that, funding and things like that would come directly from our budget that we currently have, is stuff I budgeted. With the engineer's estimates, it was something that we had to do. We didn't have to actually go to a full, we'll call it bidding thing, but it needed to be in quotes, or in a quote package, which we had 3 of them. They're sealed, I can open them up. And this project basically would, take care of all the priority 1, issues that the engineers found, in that, sub, I guess.
So is this,
I can do it if you want.
is this quote just for the engineering or for the actual work?
Do what?
Is this just for the engineering or the actual work?
No, this is actually for the actual work. The design and all that stuff's already been done for the project.
Okay.
So this would be for that. And this one looks like
Inliner, thank you. Yeah. This is Inliner Solutions, and just for a little context, for projects where the estimate's under 300,000, you quote it, or you reach out to specific contractors versus having to do the public bidding process. So we did the quoting process for this one. Inliner's quote was $235,952.00. 235,952.
And that was MI Solutions?
Inliner Solutions.
Inliner?
This quote's from In Situ Form Technologies. Their total price was $211,848.07. 211-848-2007.
FedEx got their stuff.
Sorry, I'll read. Should have read it a little slower.
No, you're good. Get my work vehicle on. You got nasty work to do, so. Really bad work.
This is SAK Construction. Their total price was $180,176. 180,176.
Just so you know, there's no decision needs to be made tonight. Engineers will review the bids, or the quotes, just like we do kind of with bids. It'll go to Lee then for his review as well. And we'll come back in July, is that right? So we're going to come back in July kind of with a recommendation and how that goes, so.
Okay.
Are you able to estimate in any way what kind of a reduction you'd expect to see?
Do you have any idea, I guess, what you, I mean, I don't know if that was something that you guys did in the study or not with the priority ones?
No, we didn't identify, we weren't able to calculate the volume of INI that would be reduced, but when we were reviewing videos, for one instance, there was a PVC pipe where groundwater was just shooting in like a jet into the pipe, this from high water conditions, so patching that up, things like that, and then full lining of some segments that had a lot of cracking and structural issues.
Where was that? Where was that one, Matt?
If I remember right, that was actually in right where Tracy Ridge meets Raintree, right there on Berwin, if I remember right. So.
Is that an area where in the past we've had the flooding problem with the major rains?
No, not really.
Okay.
I just wanna add that it was our February 4th meeting that Nick presented, the findings from the CCTV inspection, and council approved the engineering for that, but yeah, this is the next part of that. There would have been that report, I think, with a lot of pictures in your council package.
I remember seeing that.
Okay. If there's that much infiltration, is that gonna, I mean, we have to fix it because that water's going to the plant needlessly. Are we gonna have to look at something else outside if that water does not have anywhere to go?
Not really. I mean, any of the other projects we've really ever done on I&I and stuff like that, it's not caused any issues like that. Like I said, especially over Raintree, most of those sewers are are 20 plus foot deep. So it's just normal groundwater that would sit. It's just finding a void basically to fill is what it's finding. So no, and just kind of to also, I guess, give more context, and I've told you guys before, up there in the Raintree lift station, that station normally, it's got 2 pumps. It normally runs about 8 hours a day between both pumps. When we get some of the heavier rain events, we'll say like the big rain event we had was it last Wednesday or whatever. Those pumps for 2 days, one was running basically 24 hours a day, another was running 19 hours a day. So that tells you how, and those pumps are pumping probably close to 280 to 350 gallons a minute, each pump. And that tells you, how much is coming from it. So I think we'll see a good reduction, but there is quite a bit of priority twos, and that's something in that study. I think it was estimated was around $400 and some thousand, I think was what the engineers, but that was something that was going to be kind of bit off in small chunks as the budget and things like that. It wasn't, hey, these have to be done now.
Okay.
So as the years go, we'll do just maybe $20,000 or $50,000 here and there, till we get those all caught up and try to really reduce all that. So.
And Matt had budgeted $100,000 for this year for I&I,
Right.
so he's able to cover.
Right, and then the rest of the funds I was going to pull basically from the capitals, maybe another capital project, but we'll see kind of where all that falls. So.
Okay. Good. You guys have any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Engagement letter for the sewer financing.
Yes.
You're up again.
So I submitted that with Matt back in November, and it just never got adopted. So the issue is that since I'm regulated by the SEC, and so I'm advising you on the debt issuance, I have to have an engagement letter. It's a requirement, and so that's what that is.
Okay.
I did find a grammatical error, I guess. It refers to us as the county instead of town on 2 different. It's basically within the same paragraph. So.
Okay.
But other than that, no issues.
I can send you an updated body list. The signature's the last page. If you want, I can send you the updated. I can fix that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't know if we could just.
Okay.
That would be great.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Angela's response that we probably don't want to change it And if they can, we can still approve it and then just, as long as nothing changes in the verbiage.
Yep.
So, I think everybody's had a chance to see this.
Yep.
Questions, comments?
The only thing I was pointing out when I drafted that, and we were talking about it, the reason it talked about IFA in that letter is because we were talking about going towards the IFA for a state quality funding loan, and that's more too, since we weren't gonna get into the program, but the letter is engulfs all financing, so that's why we updated it.
Okay. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the contract?
Motion to approve the contract.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Purdy. Questions, comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5 affirmative. Angela, you have any other new business?
No.
Chad?
Nope.
John?
Nope.
John?
Nope.
Oh my goodness. Matt? Dave? Joe? You guys are too
This
easy.
is the first time, I would bet.
I know.
Because the other guy's not here.
Oh, yeah, he
Oh,
takes the
God.
show.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. The only other thing we have under legislative is ordinance 2026-02, which is the actual bond ordinance. And do we have a copy of that?
It's 22 pages long. That's another one I think you guys had corrections on.
Yeah.
So I copied it on plain white paper, but then on the last page is the signature page.
Okay, because there were quite a few grammatical errors on there, and we'll have those fixed, but I know everybody had a chance to review that. We have a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by John Purdy, second. Second by Chad. Questions, comments, discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? 5 affirmative. All right, that is everything on this evening's posted agenda. So at this time, the meeting is open to the public. If you have a,
I would like to give a short update, just kind of steps going forward.
Okay, go ahead.
If I, I'm speaking enough at these meetings. So yesterday we had our S&P rating call. I thought that went really well.
Stressful.
She was a little unorganized, which made it a little more difficult. Usually they're spot and point, and she was all over the place. I tried to direct you on where you needed. I don't know if you picked up on this.
Yes.
But anyways, we should get our rating. They're pushing to have it by the end of the week next week. I think the way the schedule for the bond financing is going to work, I got to talk to Lee from a legal standpoint, but I believe we will have to sign the contract for the loan before we go to the market to sell bonds. I've talked to Lee, I'm going to have to talk to bond counsel, which is Tom Pittman with Barnes and Thornburg, because in my opinion, the purchaser of your bonds are going to want the guarantee that you're going to transfer that money, right? They're not going to just take your word for it. So if we can get that done at the July 1st meeting, that should set us up in a good position to sell bonds that following week. Then we'd be able to close 2 weeks later. So we're looking at closing kind of the week of July 20th, which will have us right within that 90-day window. So the timeline kind of works perfect. There's really two main steps that we'll have to do. Now that we have adopted bond ordinance, I'll have to reach out to the IFA to get consent to issue these additional bonds. This is more just a paper trail step. But because you have your other bonds, your 2018 bonds issued through the state Indiana Finance Authority, they have to give consent to issue a second set of bonds. The main thing they're going to look at, they're just going to look at, was your rate study done? Do you have the required coverage? You do, check, check, check. It takes about 3-ish weeks for them to get through it. I don't see any issues, but we still have to go through the process. There too, that has to be done before we sell bonds to the market. But I couldn't start that process till we had a signed bond ordinance. So the timeline is working out pretty perfectly. The other step that will need to be done, you'll need to hire what's called a registrar paying agent. I'll reach out to a couple banks to get quotes. Usually about 500-ish a year, 500, 750, somewhere in that area. What that is, that's a bank that you'll hire you'll pay your annual debt service payments to them, and they'll disperse it to the bondholders because you won't have the ability. You don't want to take that long to do that yourself. That's very the way all these deals tend to work. did you want me to just work with Matt and Angela on the quotes to select the bidder, or did you guys want to, how did you want to handle that part?
Well, I think ultimately we're gonna have to approve whoever,
Okay.
but, you know, and if that still falls within that
Yeah,
time
what we
frame.
can do is on July 1st, you can
Yeah.
approve that, so I can have that for you for July 1st,
Yeah,
if you
when
can
is
approve it
that?
at that meeting. I will not be at that meeting, but I'll make sure Lee and Matt are aware that that needs to be done.
Okay, cause that'll, that is July 1st.
Yep.
Okay, I was looking at May for some reason. Okay, yeah, and you don't have to be there, I mean, if
I'm gonna
Matt
take a
or
break.
Lee, either one can have it. You're what?
I said I'm gonna take a break, I think I've been here every meeting since February.
Probably, yep.
Well, more than Lee has, so. So,
My closest client though, so I'm, you know, it's only 15 miles, so I'll take that.
other questions for Robert? Great, well, thank you so much for your work.
Of course.
Appreciate it. This is gonna help get a lot of things done,
Of course,
so,
I'm happy to do it.
thank you.
Yeah, that's everything, I just wanted to make sure that you guys were updated, just kind of on the timeline, please.
Okay, appreciate that. Okay, at this time, the meeting is open to the public. If you have a question or comment, we just ask for your name and address for the record, if you give that to Angela. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Sherry Reed, I live at 327 South. I am between Muller and Delbert on the half circle. I was here past winter, asked about if the city could fix part of the sidewalk that is in the half circle that they maintain. Nothing has been done. I saw a lady today almost trip on as she was stepping over it. I know that could possibly be if somebody trips and breaks a leg or something, they can sue the city. And then I'm also for the wonderful council of changing the ordinance on the golf course.
Okay. Just for a bit of clarification, in town right now, sidewalks are the homeowner's responsibility.
Even if it's in public,
Sidewalks are, now, I know Matt and Dwayne have been working on there, because there have been a couple that were really, really bad. And we've taken the funds and fixed them.
I think I know where you're talking about. Are you talking like the cul-de-sac that's there?
Exactly, yeah,
So
cul-de-sac
on
out
South
there.
Lane, yeah, I think it's gonna end up having to fall almost under the town because, so how that cul-de-sac, I don't know, I'm sure you drive by it, but you know, it goes around and then it's got the island there.
Yes.
And then there's the sidewalk that runs through that island. There's no actual homeowner's property.
Gotcha,
that touches
gotcha.
that. So,
Okay,
I'm gonna write it down and I'll let Dwayne know when he
Okay.
gets back on Monday.
okay, yeah, if it's ours, then we need to fix it. So, and I live right around the corner from you, so I'll go take a look at it myself. Thank you for bringing it up. And you are in favor of golf carts?
I am.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Ronald Vaught, 347 Melrose Drive. I had an issue with a paving crew on Friday morning. Region Paving, it's over here by the go-kart place. They had 10 trucks lined up along the street, and then they had their paving roller and their spreader in the street to where I couldn't access my driveway. I waited about 15 minutes to finally get in there, and then when I finally got in, one of the workers come up to me, and I thought he was gonna say, "Hey, thanks for waiting, sorry," but he didn't say anything, and I said something that Joe says I probably shouldn't have said, but I did, and I asked him how many, because there was like 15 guys out there for a small driveway to pave it. They don't have a crew like that out on the roads to pave it. But I asked him how many people it took to pave it. And he kind of walked off, and then he turned around and said, "F you, old man, get the hell out of here. Leave me alone, it's none of your business." And then 4 other guys come over and started screaming, yelling at me. They didn't know what I even said to the other guy. And after I thought about it and called a couple of people, they told me that I need to come down here and report it. I went to the town hall, and you have a wonderful secretary. she took down all my information. She told me that I need to go down to the police department and let them know. I went down there and talked with one of the officers, I don't know what her name is.
Chelsea.
And she just kind of blew me off. Joe finally came out, and I told him what happened, and he didn't want to hear it. He just goes, well, you shouldn't have said anything.
Wrong.
Yeah, that's exactly what you said, Joe. You said, you shouldn't have said anything.
Okay, go ahead. Take
And
it.
I go, you might be right. And I go, but still, I shouldn't be out there arguing with somebody on my property, telling me to get out of here. Joe, you know exactly what happened. Then he goes, if you mind your own business and stay off of Facebook and all the social media accounts, maybe I'd listen to you or want to know. I don't do any of that crap. Now, does he want, I mean, you mentioned something about the mini bike earlier. I seen that and I thought, boy, if I called that in or said something, Joe'd say I was sticking my nose in someplace I shouldn't be.
Speculating.
It's exactly what you said, Joe. You didn't even ask me if I wanted to file a report.
I'm gonna ask the council, can we have a meeting on this with him, and not do it here?
I don't
Well,
know
I
don't
wish
know that we
Lee was
can.
here.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know that we can.
okay.
Because I was told by two other attorneys that this needs to be made public to let everybody else know what's going on. Because this isn't the first time.
Okay, well, we can address it. We can have a conversation. And,
And I came in Monday after I spoke with other attorneys, and I asked her if there was anybody here that I could talk to, because I was going to file a report on Joe. And she said that you guys were the only bosses that he had.
and she's correct.
Well, but that's kind of a situation too, because if something happens, somebody needs to be able to make a decision.
Well, and that's why we have these meetings.
But that's once a month.
But there's nobody, okay, let me explain something to you. A lot of municipalities have town managers, okay? They don't make decisions. They do not discipline. They're not allowed to. That's a town council. They can help oversee, but that's as far as their authority goes. They can help oversee things, but they don't ultimately make the decisions. If you want to have a conversation, we absolutely can. So, and
Like I said, I like to see that, like if Lee was there.
okay, well, he just wasn't able to be here tonight.
I know, I'm kind
So-
of disappointed that he's not here.
Well, we can't help that.
Can I clarify your name's Ronald Vault,
VAUGHT,
347 Melrose?
Melrose Drive,
And what was the name of the paving company?
Freachy paving,
What did you say they were paving?
driveway,
Okay,
the house that sits on the corner of Parkview and Melrose.
okay. I know you said, I just trying to, in my mind, figure where it was.
I mean, that's a local business, that's,
Yeah, but we don't have any authority over a paving company.
well, I
If
know
they
that.
want to send 100 trucks out, they can. That's up to them. Should they have inconvenienced you? No. It shouldn't have been that difficult for them to move a piece of equipment for you to get to your driveway. So for you to be inconvenienced that way, I could apologize to you, but we didn't do it. They did, and they should apologize to you. If I was going to have a beef with anybody, it's just me. If I was in your shoes, I'd be calling their office.
oh, I already got hold of them, and
Okay.
the person that told me they owned the company didn't own the company.
Okay.
I got that situation taken care of Monday.
Okay. We can have a conversation and get something ironed out, if that helps.
Well, something needs to happen.
We'll see what we can do. Okay?
Okay.
Do you have anything else tonight for us?
The golf cart. I'm just putting this out there. They've had issues with them in Franklin. major issues with them down in the cemetery. Because they come under the park, and then they go park them in the cemetery. And when they do their concerts, like on weekends, they park them in people's yards and every place. They've had issues with open containers in them, and they're driving around with them. It's just, I don't know if it's a can of worms you want to open.
And I get that part, but a lot of that, I mean, you're not supposed to have open containers in cars, but people do. And so a lot of that is, you know.
Franklin's access and the way they can, their streets are on a grid set up to where they can, and with the park system down there, it's much different than Whiteland. Well, New Whiteland, where are you going to take them to?
Oh, anywhere.
Well, but I mean,
There's people that ride them
like
now.
There's a dance or to go downtown and get something to eat or, you know, I mean, like Franklin and Bargersville.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that ride them around here now. I mean, they're not legal, but they still do.
Yeah.
So,
Well, like you said, anybody was out there today.
yeah. So, okay. Anyone else?
I'm going to bring up as a subject.
Could we get your name and address, please?
My name is Howard Rainey, or Jamie, and 103 Sawmill Road. And I've been there for right about 4 years. And over those years, this subject has come up. And the water, standing water in the front yard of our home and our immediate left and immediate right, we have taken on everything we knew to do. We tried to raise the grade. Of course, that did not work. And I just installed a French drain in front of the house. Now that is working, but found out that we're being charged $25 a month.
No.
A quarter.
The spring taxes are your home, so
I'm sorry?
on the spring taxes, on the Appleton, the owner, or the other half of 103, our taxes, our escrow, or our taxes in the spring and the fall, we're charged $25. That's not much. I've been here, had this house for 6 years. I've complained about this water issue for 6 years. And so I had to go down and make sure something was going to be shown on my tax record. I don't normally pay attention to it, you know, but when I had to make sure something was on there, I seen on here other assessment. So I said, what is that?
That is your ditch tax that you were paying to the county, that we all pay.
Right.
And
well, I didn't know that.
Take a look at our ditches around here and tell me when the last time one of our ditches got cleaned. Yeah, we have no say-so or authority over that. That's the county. And I think they prioritize Franklin and Greenwood, to be honest with you. You know, go look at the ditch on 31. It's a mess. So that has nothing to do with us. That's, we all, and I'm nowhere near a ditch, just like you guys. But they...
Broken tile issue though. We've been told, yeah, there's a broken tile in there, Dee, and we're going to get your water taken care of. We have standing water. Times I can't mow.
We got frogs in there, so.
I like the frogs. I don't like all the mosquitoes. I don't like all the mosquitoes that we're now getting because we all know what mosquitoes can carry. But if you look at to the north of us, when he does try to mow, how he gets through without getting stuck, I don't know. I can't completely mow my yard. I do try to stay up with it, you know, just because I don't want standing grass. But we've got standing water out there. When we have the heavy rains, okay, everybody's gonna have standing water with heavy rains. But it doesn't dissipate like anytime soon. I've been told you guys are gonna look into it, you guys are gonna do something, but no one ever gets back to me. It's just getting old. Because I'm tired of walking out my yard, and when I walk out into the front yard, I'm wading in mud. And I'm
So really what the issue there is, and I know last time you were in and we talked about this at the meeting, the issue, what it is that there's really a swale or a ditch that runs along the, the east side of Sawmill along all those properties that just over time is just, basically, I mean, it was a real minor ditch anyways that all flow to the south to a inlet that's, I don't know what that, I can't remember the address is, but it's in a gravel driveway. Just over time, that ditch has just kind of filled in and what hadn't been maintained by the homeowners and all that stuff. And then as people have done stuff to their driveways, they've redone driveways and haven't put basic pipes underneath their drives to allow that water to flow, so it basically just backs up there. Originally, we talked about when the roundabout was going to come in, or is going to go in there, that we were going to try to take it that way. That didn't seem like that project was going to be quick enough, in my opinion, to do it. So we had gotten extra easement and capacity from the subdivision that's going in across the street. And I basically just trying to wait until they finish out that ditch that's going to run along that other side, so that at least the plan for that small section right there between the house north end and your house is to go underneath Sawmill and put, like a 6 or 8 inch tile basically under there with a inlet right there to basically pull that down, because that's the high spot, I should say. And so everything just gets collected right there, and it's not working its way south. So the plan was to put a tile underneath Sawmill to that ditch, so that it goes to that new pond and all that stuff is the plan. It's just I gotta wait till they get that in there. So
I know part of it too is, I think you stopped by and noticed one day, literally to the middle of the yard where the water cap meter thing is, from there to the road there's a 12-inch higher. The road is 12 inches higher than the property. So over time, as road improvements been done, they've not done it correctly. They've not cut back. All you do is just keep piling, and 12 inches is a lot.
Yeah, actually, that does get milled down, maybe not enough. So,
No, you can actually see the layers, not to
can you?
interrupt you, but,
No, you're fine.
no, I mean, it probably has been ground down, but there are layers there.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand that, but my understanding was, now there's a high pressure gas line that's running down through there in that easement between the road and so I thought about trying to tackle it myself, but that was a dream I had, over that. So I did some research, and that's how I found out about this gas line. And they basically said, you stay away from that, boy, and I said, okay, I got you.
Yeah, no doubt.
yeah, usually when we're out, if we have to work around it, they've got a company, I think it's called like Eagle Eye. It's a company that Center Point works with, and they're basically standing there watching us. And we get anywhere close to it, it's, you better stop, or, they're right there for when we're doing, because I think it's a 10 or 12 inch high pressure gas main is what it is, so
Yeah, they're pretty protective of that.
that one, yeah, they
So,
are.
to the best of your knowledge, whenever the mess across the road from us is done in a year from now, or whatever, then
I
we
would-
might have a.
I would hope that their drainage system and all that stuff, from them doing the ditch work along there and then getting their storm stuff in, is within the next few months. And at that point in time, then I can start on that, and it shouldn't take us very long, it's just cutting across the road and then, digging down and laying that pipe down through there, like I said, or just put a kind of a small inlet right there. I don't know that we'll take care of everything, because all that we really can do is go in basically where that ditch is supposed to be, because that's where we have easement. And then it would basically be, the homeowner's responsibility basically to get that water that's up higher in the yard to that ditch. Things like that.
And,
So,
we did put that French drain in, I did some landscaping, different things
Yes.
to try to soak up, or whatever you wanna call it.
yeah, I know you keep telling the same thing, it's just everything, they just are slow, very slow.
It's mosquito season, and.
Yep.
Did the French drain help?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I put it in, what do you expect?
Well, I know my neighbor across the street.
No, really,
That is true, I said.
I'm not for hire.
No, my neighbor across the street, the whole back of their house, it would flood in horribly. And they dug hers probably 8 feet deep in some spots, around the house and out to the road. And it's helped her tremendously. So I'll tell you what,
But it does help our property,
okay,
except for we're still collecting because of our neighbor. you know.
okay. Well, can we do this for you? If there's changes in the schedule and things like that, would you at least keep them informed so that, you know, that helps a little bit. I mean, at least if you know something's progressing,
Right.
you know,
That'll
then,
help with the front, but from the middle of the yard to the road, I mean, when I say I'll go out there in, you know, work shoes, I mean, I
Yeah.
come in,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
that area.
I'm mud up to my ankles.
yeah.
You know,
Well, yeah, that'd be
honestly,
great
yeah.
That's easy to do. We can take care
I
of
know where
it.
you work, so.
But I'd say you could pretty well, until the houses get there, you could see us
Well,
probably.
that is right,
So-
that is true.
No, because my trees are gonna grow up, I don't see those houses,
Oh,
that's
right,
my plan.
right.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Being no other business, we are adjourned.